Hi, I'm Graham.
And I'm Tannan.
We are Crystal Street Comics, and welcome to Thoughts from Crystal Street. Happy post Comic Con 2015, everybody. And yeah, that's going to be our thoughts today. Obviously, there was some really cool stuff shown at Comic Con. So let's start, I guess, with the big ones. Deadpool's trailer. Let's start with Deadpool's trailer.
I was actually surprised there was even that much footage.
Yeah.
With it still a year away.
Yeah. Well, I think it's part of the 2016 lineup, so
Yeah.
it's part of the summer crowd. So I mean, as much footage, but I think they're still filming at this point.
Right.
I know they haven't wrapped.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a fairly complete trailer, and the reason that it hasn't been released online, at least according to Ryan Reynolds' official Twitter feed, is that they are doing some more touch-up for the visual effects before they release it online. So it'd be about 3 weeks before a nice HD quality. But if you've managed to find one of those cell phone quality leaks that was out there, you were in for some pretty damn funny stuff.
Yeah, I mean it does look really good. One of my favorite parts is just how Ryan Reynolds just introduces the video that is actually probably one of the better ones that I've seen.
Yeah.
It's just how happy he is just to watch it again.
Yeah.
I mean we've already said that it is the perfect casting, and especially when you get a guy that really wants to do the character and loves doing the character, you're going to produce a better product than somebody who's just getting paid to do the character. But yeah, I mean, just take your opportunity to just watch that.
It's
as soon as this wraps up.
Yeah, it's full, I mean, it's full of that Deadpool humor. I mean, from there's a little bit of, I don't know, emotions at the beginning when he's talking about the cancers that he has, and then but very quickly it just becomes the Deadpool trailer.
Yeah.
And it is kind of everything you want it to be. The costume, even recreating the scene that they showed as the test footage that kind of got it made in the first place. So overall, I don't want to give Fox the benefit of the doubt, but I might give Fox the benefit of the doubt. But as you were quick to point out, odds are Ryan Reynolds will play Deadpool very good, and it'll be a very funny movie. It still may not be a great movie, though, because Fox is still not known for their plots. So, but who knows? I will hold maybe Deadpool as an outlier. It's funny, at that same press conference, they talked a lot about X-Men Age of Apocalypse, but the footage hasn't been nearly as circulated. I think I saw an image of Apocalypse out there, and he looked like he could be kind of cool, but nothing much to report as far as that one goes. And I'm going to use this as kind of a time to talk about a weird absence, and that was Marvel's Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I was expecting something from Civil War, or actually for the most part I was expecting something from the MCU's Netflix television shows.
Yeah.
That aren't that far away. But really they just nothing.
Almost nothing there. I know that Ant-Man, Paul Rudd was there. And they were signing, and I know that the cast of S.H.I.E.L.D. was there, because there was actually a really funny-ass picture of Clark Gregg dressed as Haley Atwell in the red hat and everything. It was a funny picture, but it's just weird. Doctor Strange is coming next year, Civil War is coming next year, and there wasn't so much as a peep from either of those, and that felt weird, and I was trying to kind of figure out why, but I did come across the fact that the D23 Expo, which is Disney's Expo, is in August. So my guess is maybe they're going to let Ant-Man run its course and then kind of announce the next wave at D23. So just a weird absence.
Yeah, I mean that's, if you're Disney, that does kind of make sense. But at the same time, this is the largest. This is related to the things that you do convention in the world.
Yeah.
You probably should have something for the fans. Because like most people were expecting something.
Something. I mean, I wasn't maybe expecting a trailer by this point, but some footage, something to leak online, something to show of anything from, especially Civil War. I expected something and got just nothing.
Yeah,
that was weird.
They could have had the entire auditorium wherever they were announcing whatever Marvel Disney's Marvel was deciding to do. Just the image of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. That probably would have been nearly enough.
Hell, concept art would have been enough.
Yeah.
To just something to, hey, we're doing these. Do you remember that? And I don't know. Again, my only guess is they're trying to wait out the end of phase 2 or 3. And
Yeah.
whatever phase they're in now. I guess it's the end of phase 2. Yeah, end of phase 2 with Ant-Man. So that was just kind of a weird omission. But then we jump over to DC, and DC came strong with their 2 main entries. Let's start with Batman versus Superman, because we have talked about that a bit before. We got a full blown trailer that is everything you could have hoped for.
Yeah, I mean it's they managed to sum up the why we're having this particular Batman versus Superman in their 3-minute trailer, and I loved Henry Cavill as Superman, and I just like seeing the dude play Superman. He does a damn good job.
Yeah.
And I have always been a proponent for Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne and Batman. And this video, the trailer doesn't disappoint at all. And you don't get to see him really like Batman fight much.
Yeah.
There's a brief glimpse of where he's actually looks like he's fighting humans.
Yeah.
And that looks, I mean, it is very Christian Bale style fighting, which I liked because they got that correct in those 3 movies.
That they did.
And yeah, you got a little brief glimpse of Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
and she looks really good
great.
as Wonder Woman.
She looks great. Got just the taste of that. Got some, some of the nice background information, like the fact that Batman has been operating for 20 years. So we know that this is an older Batman, and it's basically had been speculated anyways with Affleck behind it. But the cool scene for me, and I didn't realize it the first time I watched it, but I saw a posting of it online, was there's this part where you see the suit with "ha-ha" written on it, and when you look really close, it's a Robin suit, which means it's likely Jason Todd's suit if they're following canon, which is just cool that they're following that kind of canon.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and it's a perfect Robin suit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like this. Like he mentions, in the 20 years we've been in Gotham, so they've already set up this that doesn't need to be in this movie. Robin doesn't need to be there. But it's nice that they are implementing the fact that either a Robin existed, or if this is Jason Todd, then you can assume Dick Grayson and Tim are probably not far down the line.
They're somewhere. Dick's probably already off in Bloodhaven, so he'll have nothing to do, even though I've heard rumors that he's in the movie, and then he wasn't in the movie. But anyways, it's just cool seeing how established they're throwing you in with an established Batman, even though it does look like we're going to have to watch his parents die again. Apparently, if you put Batman in a movie, you have to show the fucking Waynes die. But I'm hoping that'll be the quickest of quick things ever.
Yeah.
I really hope they don't take a lot of time showing that.
Yeah, and so far the only real thing, I mean, other than the people that just like bashing on Ben Affleck, the only thing that I've read are people don't like the look of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex. I mean, they don't like his hair or something, but I mean, I know it's not part of the New 52 now, but Lex Luthor during the death of Superman, if you can recall, had long wavy red hair.
Yeah.
So it's not a departure from another. Again, Lex Luthor, along with almost every single comic book character, especially DC, that's been around for almost 100 years now. You can kind of choose what the hell you want them to look like for your project.
And I
I
mean, come on. We've seen the promo pictures of Eisenberg bald. Odds are it's a fucking wig. He's gonna Gene Hackman that shit at the end and show he's bald, or at some point and show he's bald. That's something to. Again, everything of that trailer was amazing.
Yeah. Again, that's probably just the internet nitpicking because that's what the internet likes to do.
It's what it's here for. We're here to nit and pick. Real quick, a side note that we didn't talk about beforehand. Did you see that the Batman sequel is being directed by Affleck and co-written by him?
Co-written, and then was it Goyer?
It might be Goyer, but all I saw was co-written and directed by Affleck. So.
Yeah, and here's my argument, because all the people that don't like Affleck, I have challenged everybody that I can. If you didn't like him in some movies, Reindeer Games, even Armageddon, some of his, like right after Armageddon up to when he started directing, okay, watch anything that he directed.
Yeah.
because he is damn good in everything that he directs.
Yeah.
Saying if he's directing the Batman sequel,
Good.
that's not like Fox Marvel. I actually
No.
have high hopes for that.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, indeed. And so semi-lastly, let's talk Suicide Squad. And that one, at first, we can only watch the leaked footage, which is how I first saw the Joker end bit. But a day later, they released the full trailer in high definition, and that looks exceptionally promising.
It looks well done. And especially, I would say, it looks really well done for characters that really none of them. And it's like I like that it's a Suicide Squad. It's an ensemble cast because just having one of these people helm a full budget movie probably sounds a little overstretching. But they all look great.
Yeah, they look good. Even Croc, who I kind of had some issues with in the stills, he looks okay in motion. So I'm okay with the way they got him. Of course, Will Smith's Deadshot, just great.
Yeah, in full costume, I don't see how. I mean, people might still be a little pissed off because he's not a white guy. Suck it up.
Yeah.
He looks great in the full costume, and he's going to do a good job.
And Margot Robbie didn't disappoint. Doesn't have what I think we would call a traditional Harley voice. I've heard maybe she'll go into that if she's kind of in a full-blown psychosis moment, but that's not the end of the world either. I mean, we basically only have had to this point the one voice of Harley and people kind of imitating that voice. So something different is okay. And I kind of want her to have the big hammer, but that's just me, and I knew it wouldn't fly in a live-action DC movie. So I'll live with her having a baseball bat.
Yeah, and before we get to Mr. Leto, I like it when movies do this. A piece of exposition that doesn't take any time. In the trailer, it is mentioned, I hear some of these people have powers, and then it is directly mentioned that, yes, it seems like Superman brought them out of hiding, or however it's worded. Perfect. There. That's all the exposition you need for why there are things with powers on Earth.
Yeah.
That they weren't around, and then, hey, dude with power shows up, we should probably utilize these things. Fine with it.
Yeah, and my guess is that they'll kind of breeze through all. You'll get a little sense of each of these characters. I'm sure there'll be some montage of who's all in the lockup, in the hole and then they threw away the hole.
Yeah.
So eloquently puts it. But as Tannan mentioned, we do now have to talk about Mr. Leto and the end of that trailer. Haters, are you still out there? Because I really think you shouldn't be anymore. Because that was fucking creepy and great.
Yeah, I was like, I never had any doubts whatsoever when I heard Jared Leto was cast as the Joker. Actually getting to, hear him and see him really just looked like he's about to have a lot of fun hurting somebody a lot. That is quintessential Joker, and it is a very quintessential comic book Joker, which, even though Heath Ledger did a phenomenal job, he was more gangster.
Yeah. Well, he was one of the aspects of Joker. I mean, Joker's got a lot of facets, and this Joker from Heath Ledger was the anarchist Joker, the head of the mob Joker, which is a story that's happened. But Jared Leto looks to be full-blown psychosis Joker, which is also still Joker. And that's the great thing about that character. And I don't know if we've mentioned this on camera or not. The one thing I've always loved about the Joker is that's a role that's never been played bad. I mean, I know you don't like the Tim Burton film, but it's hard to argue that Jack Nicholson as the Joker was great in that movie.
No, that's his movie.
Yeah.
It's just Tim Burton. It's just written wrong.
Cesar Romero, even going back to the 70s, 60s, 70s Batman show, that was still a great Joker. And it's just a character that has yet to be done. And of course, Mark Hamill's, voice acting Joker, and even John DiMaggio's voice acting Joker. It's just a character that's hard to do wrong because it's so broad. You can just pick a piece of it that works for you. And so, when I hear there's somebody cast as Joker, I think, great. That's the one role I've never gone, I don't think he's going to do a good job. Okay, he's going to do a great job because the past tells me people play the Joker well.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, there are a few. It's like I wouldn't like to see Ralphie May played the Joker, but
Yeah.
I mean, that should.
Yeah, as long as you cast within reason. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not Dave Chappelle as the Joker.
Yeah.
Even then, you know what? I bet that could be an okay Joker.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Yeah.
It's just I never understood the hate. Now there is one thing, haters, and I viewed this, and Tannan saw this, and we both thought it was a little bit weird. So after the initial Joker picture was put out there, with all the tattoos and everybody bitching and complaining about how he looked like a tattooed meth head, there was an article, and I can't remember if it was Jared Leto or if it was one of the directors or who said it, but they said, "Oh no, those tattoos are on there as part of the 75th anniversary special. This isn't what he actually looks like." Now, he doesn't have as many tattoos, but he is still fairly tattooed up. And it just seems like a weird thing that you put it out there that he's not tattooed, and then he's tattooed anyways. That was the only thing that felt weird about the whole trailer to me.
Yeah, and it's like I'm fine with definitely fine with the 75th anniversary picture. Fine with that article. After seeing Jared Leto, perfectly fine with what he looks like.
Yeah.
So I could chalk up that article to them fucking with us.
Yeah, trying to get us to stop bitching about it for a couple of weeks until we got to see the footage.
Yeah.
So, whatever the reasons, that just seemed like a weird play to me to go with. And that's kind of it from Comic-Con, and that also brings up the last thought. That was kind of it for Comic-Con.
Yeah, there was no other. I mean, these three things were.
Oh, and Star Wars. We did skip Star Wars footage. Looks great.
Yeah.
If you were expecting anything else, I don't know what the hell to tell you. Lots of practical. That was the one thing that surprised me.
That's the best part. That Abrams is going back more towards the original trilogy and models and costumes, and really good just.
Yeah.
They're special effects because there are special people making these effects,
and that's not hating on CG artists. CG artists work hard, but there is something about practical effects that I think we're always going to want. We want them to never go away, and so to see there's a lot of care being put into actual practical effects. There is a Millennium Falcon that they built, they walk around on. I mean that goes a long way. There's a lot. I mean, I'm sure there's still plenty of green screen, but it doesn't seem like there's nearly as much as, say, episodes, 3, where it seemed like whole sets were green screen.
Yeah, and I think, as long as they can keep making movies in this fashion, I think the premier directors that want a real feeling set should keep doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just look at Guillermo with all of his
Pan's Labyrinth and those type of films.
Yeah, it's like when you're actually having people talking to these aliens or that box that there's somebody inside of, I find it a little bit more reverent to the movie that I knew that's the time that they took to make that, as opposed to talk to that crane. And
look up there. Now look to your left.
Right. Yeah. Well, and there's things that can't be helped.
Right.
I mean, I have a hard time figuring out how they would realistically make Smaug.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can make it.
Make it. So now back to the other point that we were talking about before. I'd forgotten about Star Wars somehow. It felt like kind of a bare bones Comic-Con. There wasn't. Again, we had talked about Marvel's absence, and maybe Marvel's absence just makes it feel that much broader. But there wasn't a lot about even kind of independent comic horror movies that we're about to hit. Which, I mean, there's plenty of projects that are going on out there. It felt really light.
It did seem also like there should be something about the Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yeah, I mean, there was the trailer got released, but that was it.
Yeah,
it just.
Things like that were missing. There was Ash versus the Evil Dead, but generally there are more
stuff
I guess subsets.
Yeah.
It's like you got your big ones, Marvel and DC and Star Wars. There's usually a lot of
like, here's a cool little piece of news like this, Hellboy 3 is getting made. Something to that effect. Just it it just felt like kind of a light Comic-Con. I mean, I'm not hating. Again, what was put out there was really good, but again, 4 trailers worth watching.
Yeah,
I feel like there's usually more content put out at Comic-Con.
yeah. I mean, it's like because you could go generally when it's done because I don't attend. It's sifting through all of the Comic-Con footage. This one, really, if you just watch all 4 trailers and then the Star Wars behind the scenes thing, that's going to take you less than 20 minutes out of your day, which is rarely the case for Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
But,
so,
yeah,
it is what it is, I suppose. But, yeah, that's really it. So I'm Graham.
And I'm Tannan, but before we leave, speaking of Comic-Cons,
oh,
we're working on going to one.
Yeah, the Indie Comic-Con.
It's a long way away.
A long ways away. We're going to try and, well, we pretty much plan on going to that. We got to book our table and everything like that, but plan to see us there.
Yeah.
And other interesting stuff in the near future. I'm not going to plug it because I've plugged it before and it hasn't come, so I'm just going to say it's closer than it has been before.
Well, once we get stuff we're telling you, we'll tell you after it's there as opposed to over-promising and under-delivering. But, you know.
Much like Guillermo del Toro.
All right, so then I'm Tannan.
And I'm Graham. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.